Greetings everyone, this is Rambling Collector here, and welcome back for another book review. For this video, we will once again be looking at the works of R.I. Polsgrove, specifically with their newest released book, Finding My Way Back, published under not only their current name, but also their old name of Alexis Merrick. Now, this one is a very interesting one for R.I. Polsgrove, as this is not only their first nonfiction piece, but this is also a glimpse into their backstory and who they were as a person growing up. And quite frankly, there is a very vivid picture that is painted here across one major subject, that being their struggles as well as their encounters with the faith. Now, with that being said, let's continue, shall we? So, first and foremost, while this does not go into graphic detail, this does provide a full look on the backstory of the author, showcasing their abusive childhood as well as their struggles and eventual break with the Christian faith. Now, this one is a very short book, being only about 80 pages in total, so if someone wanted to, they could easily finish it within a day, if they are a hardcore reader. But also, I feel like this is one that you would want to take your time with overall, because while this might be short, the lessons and story within are very impactful, especially for some who might struggle with their faith or have their own stories to tell in regards to the Christian church. Now, one thing the author does here is that they do not hesitate to address both the good and the bad regarding the church and the faith, showcasing how, more often than not, the people within the church wind up making all the difference, especially regarding the themes and problems that they address. For one, you may often find churches that address more of a sense of community and trying to be good to the average person. And then you have some that are far more focused on the fires of hell and the eternal punishment coming for all sinners and how quickly they must repent and repent for their ways. And more often than not, the church has many various different flavors and types, with Methodist, Baptist, you name it. There are various different flavors and varieties of church. However, it all boils down to the individual person who is preaching, as well as how they practice. Now, for the author here, they did not get the happy ending when it comes to their faith. And one of the things that I noticed throughout the book is how often they bring up their own traits that they struggle with. The only character flaws that they had experienced and what they tried to do, as well as, of course, their struggles with the faith. We see how they met their significant other. We see how back and forth they constantly have to deal with losing friends, losing companions, and things like that. But also, of course, the final fallout before they leave for Florida. And I will say again, knowing R.I. Polsgrove's backstory and finally seeing it brought to print is definitely an eye-opener. Because again, while this does not go into graphic detail about what exactly happened, we don't need to, in that sense. It doesn't have to, because you can already see the picture of an abuse victim here. And it is a very vivid one that we more often than not do see. And it's a sad thing. But, that being said, let's go on to the next slide, shall we? So, first and foremost, I know I followed this author for quite a while, honestly, and I'm not gonna lie, a good quarter of my content might be devoted to their works, but that is only because I want them to succeed. The stories that they write are very, very well done, and in all honesty, coming from someone who is not really used to vampire romance books, and believe me, the only prime example we have had is Twilight, the Dead Souls series has been a fantastic read. But this really highlights what I love about non-fiction pieces, especially autobiographies, which have become a very massive favorite of mine in regards to the world of non-fiction, because with non-fiction books, and especially autobiographies, it peels back the layers of fantasy that we have about certain people. Some prime examples that I have read in the past have been Jeanette McCurdy, Will Smith, and of course, Britney Spears. And each and every one of those autobiographies peeled back the layer of this famous person and actor who seems untouchable. And we finally get to see the person behind the name, behind the myth and legend. And this really does provide that sense of connection that you feel to these people. When you read an autobiography, you are reading and learning about that particular person. And more often than not, sometimes it paints a very vivid picture of who they are as a character. It shows all their various flavors and colors and how sometimes we can find ourselves agreeing or disagreeing with them. But again, that's one thing that I love about autobiographies, because they really do peel back those layers and really let you see the person behind the character. And in this case, with R.I. Polsgrove, you really get to see more of their story and learn about why they do what they do, where some of their inspiration for the Dead Soul series does come from. And in all honesty, I feel that deserves a lot more recognition than it receives. And this is not just me coming from reviewing their books and everything else. This is me truly believing that as a supporter of indie creators. We never know their struggles. And in all honesty, that alone, just seeing and talking about their works, is honestly a bright thing that I get to do with this channel, and something that I will absolutely continue to love and adore to do. To talk about these indie creators and some of their amazing works that they write and publish and craft. For creation, of course, is always a craft. And in this case, it's something to always be appreciated. But with that being said, let's move on to the final score, shall we? Overall, I would rate Finding My Way Back at a solid 8 out of 10. For while the book was very, very good, highlighting things such as the struggles of the Christian faith, as well as some of the many problems the church itself might face now from a former Christian, as this author is, it really does do well. And honestly, the only major detractor here is that the book is so short. I honestly felt myself wanting more, even after just finishing this book in as little as 2 days. I wanted more, and I really hope to hear and see more. But overall, I feel like for those who might be on the fence about this author, even if you are more of a non-fiction or autobiography fan, give this one a try. I guarantee you will not be disappointed. And of course, if you're curious to check out some of the other works by this author, you can feel free to check out the playlist that I've made on this channel for them. But if you're also curious to see some of the other non-fiction books I've covered on this channel, I will leave a link to that playlist as well. Honestly, this just gets me excited to finally check out more autobiographies and really learn more of the stories of certain people. That's one of the things that I love about this particular branch, is that there's always something new to learn about everyone. But for those of you who are watching, thank you so much for staying to the end of the video. If you did like this video, feel free to leave a like, comment your thoughts down below, and subscribe if you're curious for more content and more books that I will cover in the future. I hope you all enjoyed this channel, and if you did, please let me know your thoughts down below. And again, thank you so much for listening. This is Rambling Collector, signing off for now. Have a great day, fellow readers, and I will see you all in the next video.